how I'm going to do a success story of two students this week. Usually I do about one, but this week we had a little bit more success than usual. So I want to kind of share it. So one student got a client for a $24,000 like 1 year contract. So basically, it was about $2,000 a month. She got him to sign up for like the whole year. The second student got a client for $1,200 per month. And the reason why it's so significant is because like when I first got started, I didn't even believe that clients would be willing to pay like $1,000 a month, right? So if I would have heard someone say that back then, I'd have thought there's no way that I could have personally done it, right? Because like when I was starting, number one, I didn't really know what to charge. So anything above like $300, $450 per month sounded like really, really high. And number two, I didn't really have the right habits in place that would lead to me having enough consultation calls in order to get enough clients to do that, right? Because in order to like charge more money for your services, you have to have a certain amount of confidence in place. Number one, that people are willing to pay you. Number one. Number two, that you have enough consultation calls that even if this person does not pay you, you're not really dependent on their income or dependent on them like paying you in order to do it. So one thing you might see me do during this call today is you might see me drinking water. Now, I'm going to tell you a story in a minute, but even before we do that, if you're watching this thing on the live, write down hashtag team live. The reason why I'm asking you guys to like comment and to like support this is because number one, I do it for free. So one way you can help me out and say, hey, thanks Bryce for taking out 20 minutes to 30 minutes of your time to for free. Just support it by sharing with more and more people by leaving a comment or a like or share inside of this post. Now, the more of these I get, the more like excited I get to actually do it. It's like, sometimes we have like 20 people watching this thing live while it's going across the different channels. Like, whoa, I'm really talking like 20 people. Like, when I first got started doing these lives, like it'd be like zero people on it. So now to have 20 people live when it's good, it's like it's cool, but I want to even keep getting more. And the only way we do this is by getting to be shown by more. If you're watching this thing on the replay, you can also support by saying hashtag team replay. I'm gonna actually leave you a gift inside the comments if you do that. So someone said team live. Awesome. I see another person say team live. Cool. Three people so far have said team live. I appreciate that. I am here supporting you. Thank you so much for supporting me. The challenge is since I'm doing it on this thing called Restream, I can't see exactly like what your face is. So in some cases you have to give like Restream like the ability to be able to like use your identity inside of this thing so I can see who it is. So that's the main thing. So number one, back to why am I drinking so much water? The reason why is because if you've been following our posts, like I've been going through a little bit of like weird kind of like health challenges. As soon as like the weather in Michigan got very cold, my body started getting very, very like brittle. I see, hey Patrice, hopefully you're doing well. I can't wait to start working with you in the future. I've been waiting for a little while and I can't wait to start working with you. But yeah, so I started getting like really, really brittle, and it was just kind of like I was talking to my personal trainer today, and he was like, what's kind of going on? Like, what do you kind of think is going on there? Because I've been like talking to a lot of like nutritionists, and kind of seeing like what is my body deficient in. So they started giving me like some different vitamins, like a vitamin like B10. They gave me some magnesium. They gave me told me to start doing like sodium, like sea salt. They also told me about calcium. Now, magnesium and calcium, those kind of like help relax your muscles. So since I'm so like tight, it caused me to kind of feel really, really brittle, right? And I've always had that. Now, one thing that I started doing this year was getting like massage, get like 2 massages a week. So I spent about $10,000 this year just in massages alone, right? And I'm really kind of like working because like one thing I believe is that like when you pay experts, it causes you to get to the next level a lot faster and have to avoid a lot of mistakes. One thing that I kind of like figured out was that instead of having to take like a bunch of vitamins, I can actually like open up the capsules, pour in like the different vitamin powder, and then I can actually like split it amongst like different like water bottles like this. So every single day, I know I'm hitting my minimum water goal and I'm hitting my minimum vitamin goal just based on kind of the numbers that my body needs based on like what the nutritionists and stuff were kind of like saying, right? And it's like you just kind of give yourself like these like little habits that over time allow you to be able to go and reach your goal. Some people ask like, how am I able to, for each business, be able to hit 6 figures every single year and then be able to keep growing at the pace that I want to? And how can I control it? How can our students control their growth? It's because we know what key performance indicators, those are called KPIs, we have to look for in order to know that we are on the right track for success. Where as long as you do step A, you're going to get B. And if you get B, then it leads to C. If you get to C, then it leads to D. And if D starts breaking down, we can just go backwards and be able able to kind of like figure out what that stuff is for you and like how you should be fixing it, right? Because it's all about these little habits. If you have enough of the right habits over time, you just magically hit your goal. And you look down, you're like, I've had students on like some of our consultation calls, like inside of our program, be like we'll be they'll be like, oh, I don't know if I'm like moving as quite as fast what I want. They look down, they've already made like 50 grand or 60 grand over the course of like 6 months of the year, right? And it's just like until you start looking down, start logging, you're gonna be growing so much faster than what you think because you're doing the right things, right? And you stop actually thinking about the result and you just start, doing the right activities and the results naturally follow. So number one, kind of diving into this, how was this first student able to get a client to sign up for $24,000 a year? So not just do like the month to month, right? But to sign up for an entire year in advance. Number one, you have to believe that you actually can do it. So some people talk about like people are not willing to pay me what I'm worth, or I don't feel like I'm able to charge clients for my value, or I don't even know what my value is. So value always starts with number one, being able to look at like what you do generally has a dollar amount. It might not be 100% tied to revenue, but it can be tied to revenue. So for example, for me, for my program, when I was first getting started, like the first students that I like was working with, I saw that I was getting them about like on average like $50,000 in like the span of like 60 to 90 days, right? So then I put my program price about like 10% of that. And then people started like really buying it very, very like simply and very easily, right? It was the same thing I did on my accounting service. I could kind of say, okay, so cool. So you're gonna actually go and get like a loan for $1 million, but you don't have your financials ready to go. So if I am able to help do this cleanup, that's gonna really unlock $1 million for your business for this project. Yes. Okay, cool. So then what you can do is you can either take anywhere between like 1% all the way to about 10 to 15% of the direct response to the direct energy they're going to get as a result of it. So if they're going to get $1 million, you can charge 1,000, you can charge 10,000, you can charge, in some cases you can charge up to 100,000 depending on like who you're speaking to. Like I'm not recommending you charge $100,000 for that, but I'm just saying you could, and it would still be within reason. Now, how do we actually go and pinpoint it? Now, we've come up with a lot of like different like pricing calculator tools and like strategies to be able to like maximize how much you can charge based on this stuff. Because yeah, I mean, the value of the work could be worth $100,000, but unless you number one believe that you are worth $100,000 for one client for one project, which a lot of people that even for myself, like I've never charged someone $100,000 upfront for a cleanup project. I'm not quite there yet. Maybe in the future, but I haven't done it yet. Um, but it's really about believing that you can do it, right? And like once you're able to do that, then you can start like really growing. So like for example, one way that you can really believe that someone is willing to pay you a certain amount of money is to pay it someplace else. So for example, I have like a private mastermind, so like generally for students who are extremely advanced, right? And we generally have it where it like has an element of like marketing and sales, but it also has an element of like partnering, right? So they can actually send work to my team and we do the accounting work for them. So it grows like it helps them grow without having to like have like a massive team. Now, generally for that, the way that I was able to start charging like a really, really high amount of money, like 20,000, 30,000, was because I paid someone $30,000 to help show me how to build my company, how to hire people, and how to really run a lot of advertisements. And as soon as like I paid someone $30,000, it kind of clicked for me. It's like, wait, if I can pay 30,000, I'm not making $1 million a year. These business owners are doing like 500, 750, a million, 3 million, 5 million. There's no reason why they can't pay me the amount of money I'm asking for. And it kind of unlocks something in me where if little old me can do it, why can't they do it? And then allow me to like hold my ground a lot further and a lot like more steady, right? So the next thing when it comes to like sales is the communication of what you can do for someone, the value that you believe in yourself and the value that you can actually bring, as well as the tangible result they're going to be able to get, and being able to like bridge the gap between those three things, right? So for example, we already talked about value. It's like, okay, you can place a number to whatever you're going to be able to help someone get, but then also within that value to believe that you can actually do it, right? Because when you're doing a consultation call, sometimes people will challenge kind of what you say. So if you say a higher price point, like you say, hey, I need $10,000 for the cleanup. I need $8,000 up front. 80% deposit. You have the remaining 20 when the work is done. Some people are gonna like say, "Oh, I don't want to pay that much money." If you do not believe in yourself that you deserve that much money or that the work you're doing is worth that kind of money, it's very easy to kind of wilt under that pressure that they're going to get you. And if you have like trouble like really defending your value, or if you just don't have like a really good script of what to say so that people even ask you those kind of questions, book a call with me to see if I can help inside of our program. Like we do that all the time. It's very simple. But once you understand how to like really hold your ground, in a lot of cases, it doesn't have to be like a fight. Like it's not like they're like challenging you and they're trying to like embarrass you and like really put you on the spot. It's just in a lot of cases, like maybe the business owner is trying to get a deal so they can like, really keep some money, as much as they can do. Bryce doing a good job. Hey Scotty, nice to see you, Scotty. I really appreciate you saying that. Bryce doing a good job. Right? So that's the hardest part with sales. It's when someone kind of disagrees with you in that moment. If you do not have enough internal belief, then you generally accept less than what you're worth. And I did this a lot, right? So, like for example, I tried back in 2015. It was probably like let's say like June because it was like summertime. I was like trying to pitch this guy. It was a cleanup for I think it was $8,000. So the guy was like 6 months behind. It wasn't like he was like a full like 2 years behind. It was only 6 months behind. And I said like the quote I believe was like between like $7,000 to $8,000. And the guy basically said he didn't believe that he should pay me that because like there was other people that were like willing to do it for a lot less, right? And it's whenever like a business owner does it, they never say like who is willing to take a lot less. They just say other people, like this like just imaginary kind of like competition that's kind of like there. And I just like freaked out. I was like, oh my gosh. Well, this guy said he was ready. He said he was gonna pay. Oh, look, and I didn't want to lose the deal, right? Because I was like very desperate for money. I wanted to like win. I wanted to get some sales. So I actually like said, okay, well, if you didn't get it for less, like how much less did you get it for? And like the guy's like, well, I could probably get it for like $3,000. Like, wait, and I just started panicking, right? I just started like freaking out. So then I was like, oh wait. So are you saying that like if I was like at $3,000, like you would want to do this? And the guy's like, I'd be more open to it. And that's another thing that like if I would have known this now, I would have like handled that a little bit differently. But whenever someone says like they'd be open to it, you really have to kind of pin them down to see, well, if you say open to like when you say open to like how do you mean? Right? You need to get a yes or you need to get a no, right? It's okay to get a no. And a lot of people how they think about a no is different. I can explain like what a no actually is like in a couple seconds, but you need to get a very distinct yes or no. Now that does not mean that they have to buy and they have to get a pressure. You just have to be able to have very distinct yes or no so you know where in the decision tree you need to go. So for example, someone could be like a no. It's not that they never want to buy from you. It's just the right questions have not been asked, the right circumstances have not presented themselves, or the right type of value has not been displayed to them. And they have like maybe some questions that they either don't believe it's worth the price you're asking. They don't really understand how it works. They don't understand how it can help them. There can be a million different things, but it all starts with being able to go and like get very, very concrete answers, right? And like if you're on a consultation call with me to like talk about our program, and you say like something that's like very wishy washy, and I'm doing the call, in most cases, I'm gonna like call you out. And I'm not gonna be mean, right? Because you never want to be mean when you're calling someone out. You just want to like ask the question to kind of like understand what they mean, right? So it's like if someone says like, "Oh, I'll be open to," I'm like, "Open to it?" Right? And you have to have the upward inflection because then what starts happening is they repeat what they actually mean. Well, when I say open to them, like I really want to kind of do it. I just have XYZ thing, right? And they kind of tell you what the XYZ thing is. And now you can start talking about what the XYZ thing is. Is there like a clarifying question? Is it a piece of information they don't have? Is it they don't have like the authority to be able to do it? Because like maybe they have like a business partner, right? But you have complete clarity into knowing like what are those different things that is stopping someone from moving forward and partaking in the thing that they've just said they wanted, right? So then once you're able to do that, it just makes it a lot easier. So when you're doing these consultation calls, it's okay if you say a high price point. If the person says no, and you just have to say like, hey, like you follow up with them, right? We have like some really detailed stuff in the program about like how to follow up. So don't feel bad. Like maybe you had like this year where you had like 10, 20 people that were interested in your accounting, bookkeeping, whatever service you offer, and maybe they said no. Like it's not necessarily lost. You just have to be very skilled and understand like what was the thing that stopped them from buying in the first place, and then being able to rebuild that relationship so that within like 3 months, like 6 months of talking to them, they're ready to actually do the deal. Right, because like 50% of the people you speak to and 50% of the people that you actually like will work with in the future will have said no to you at some point. They'll either say no to you at the networking event, they'll say no to you inside of like the messenger, they'll say no to like one of your posts. Then you might get on a consultation call. They're gonna say, not right now. I need to think about it. My spouse, my mom, my dog, my brother, some kind of like, reason why they're not ready to move forward. But it's okay because if you're good at like, number one, diffusing the tension on the call, number two, keeping that relationship alive, and then number three, understanding like what is a very strategic way to keep it feeding them information until they're ready to buy, you're gonna be able like to really save a lot of those deals. Like a number of times, like if I have someone in like the program and like maybe they've been in business for like a year, 2 years, like the first thing we do is we go look at their old pipeline. We say, okay, cool. So how did the conversation get left off with this person? Based on how it was left off, we kind of put them on like a spreadsheet and we say like, okay, so this person's like most likely all it's like people who are least likely. And then we start like messaging. So like one of our students named Brian, he got like $14,000 in like 20 days just from doing this. Like people who were like maybe they're on the fence, maybe it just wasn't the right time. They just went back through. We got $14,000. That's cash. Okay, that's cold hard cash, and that wasn't even like all of his clients. It wasn't for like two other people from the list, right? And it's just like when you understand like what a good process is, and you understand that even if someone tells you no, like if someone tells you no, that you're still gonna be able to make the income that you want, you have a lot more confidence. You can say those higher price points with a lot more authority, efficiency, and force, and you're not gonna be like shaken off of your rock. And then from there, once you just get good at like marketing and start really understanding like marketing is just a communication of, remember we had value, sales, and the marketing. Marketing is just being able to communicate to a much wider audience what you can be talking about in your consultation call. That's all it is. Like all this stuff, if you notice, can be very, very intertwined. You cannot have one without the other. If your marketing is not working to get you sales consultation calls because people just don't see the value, and if you get people on the call, you're probably not going to close them either. Like it's very, very very intimately linked because then you'll understand how to convey the value and no one really wants what you have. But if you understand the value, then you get good at consultation calls, just explaining it in like a customized version, and then get good at doing it to like a very broad audience. That's when you can start having more leads. And that's when you can start doing it because when you start pairing it with like partnerships, and instead of having to do like marketing directly to clients, you market towards your partners and just like kind of repeatedly show them why they should be giving you clients and sending clients your way. Now it starts really snowballing and it becomes a lot easier to start growing. And like, not only are you getting more clients, but you get better quality clients who don't give you as much price pushback. And if they do give you price pushback, your partner actually gets on the phone and closes them and says like, hey, referral, like I told you to go with this person. I know it's a little bit expensive, but I mean, you need it because of XYZ ABC thing. Then the referral's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And they end up paying you the amount of money that you asked for because you held your ground and it was valuable. Other people who you've been like marketing to, which are your partners, think it's valuable as well. Now you start getting the client at a much easier price point, and like it's just so much easier. Business does not necessarily have to be hard. You just have to know like what are the right steps and like what are the right habits that you're being built, right? And then all you have to do is once you have those habits, those things like just understood, just like the water, you just drink a little bit every single day, and you hit your goals. So if you want some help really knowing what you need to be doing to grow your business, if you want to make sure that you are able to go and reach your goals in the shortest amount of time possible, I just invite you to go ahead and like book a call with me. See if either myself or a member of my team to see if like we can help you, right? Because it's like at this time of year, number one, you could use it as like a write-off, but also number two, growing your business doesn't have to take a lot of time. Like it doesn't have to take time, it just takes the right things, right? And if all it takes is like the right things, plus just paying someone a little bit of money, which is less than the cost of like one of your clients, you might as well do it. I mean, unless you like, kind of struggling for a little bit longer than what you have to. It's just one of those things. Like I personally struggled and then I paid and I didn't have to struggle anymore. Right. But I spent a lot more money than like most people. Like first year, I spent like 35K on like courses, right? And then up to this point, and in the last like 3 years alone, I've spent about $150,000 on like courses, masterminds, programs, vacation retreats, guru events, and stuff like that to learn this stuff. So it wasn't like it was just magic or I just figured it out. It's just I paid people and they told me instinctively what to do step by step. And every time I've been kind of stuck in my business, I just pay someone to get me unstuck. Like my Facebook ad account was having this weird message. I paid someone like $200 to go fix it in like 5 minutes, right, on Fiverr, right? I'm just always paying to get this thing done. Yeah, it does cost more money, right? But just like I value speed over money because once I get there, I don't have to keep spending money, right? Unless you want to. And that's when you start learning more stuff. So if you want some help and you're tired of trying this stuff, you're tired of maybe you haven't even gotten started with your business. You're just like thinking like should I do this? Can I do this? Like, is this the right thing? How should I get started? Like we cover all that in the program. Like we give you everything from A to Z, anywhere from like 0 to about 12K per month is covered inside of our regular program. Someone said I definitely need help getting clients. Yeah, and I did too, I went the first 6 months in business, like the most money I made for my accounting firm was about, I like to say $2,700 was like the highest. That was, I believe, May of 2015. And like 1,700 of that came from like a cleanup, like a 3-year duration. So like I undercharged that cleanup. I was basically, the cleanup broke down to $47 per month I was charging to do that cleanup, right? I just didn't know what I didn't know, right? But once I started paying, once I started like figure out like, okay, here's a proven path, here's a process to do, just stay on that process. That's when everything worked out for me. So, hopefully it can work out for you as well. And I'm here for you, when you're ready, so we can start going and making some money together. So that's you. I'll see you on the call. If you're not quite ready, that's okay. I will see you inside of the next video. Take it easy. Talk to you guys soon.